Hello and welcome to this information session about core content for Salesforce, part 1, installing application packages in Salesforce. What I'm going to do is to walk you through the topics we're going to cover as part of this session today. Please note, this is part of a multi-part session focused on the installation and configuration of core content for Salesforce. Okay, so here are the topics. So we're going to find the necessary documentation in Knowledge Center required for the installation to commence. And we will review the Salesforce prerequisites, install the application packages. And remember, there's always two packages with the Salesforce integration. It's a base package and then an application specific package that is installed on top of it. And then last but not least, we're going to install the solution accelerator, which is pretty much a prefabricated configuration our customers are free to use and get a head start with their implementation. Okay. Let's go to Knowledge Center, and here we are. Knowledge Center, there's all the information you need for installation, so release notes, known issues, product documentation, configuration guide. It's all in here and can easily be filtered by these field criteria here. And for us, we're going to look for core content. And here we go. Let's filter that down to this particular area, and then we're going to look first for the release notes document and content type, product documentation, release notes, and we're going to download the release notes file for 24.1 or content CE 24.1 release notes. Okay, so let's get this document. We're downloading it now. Open that. Okay, so here is the release notes document. Sorry, it's a little bit tardy here. Okay, let's go back to the filter, and then we want as well the customization guide, because there are specific instructions included about the installation of the product in Salesforce. So these filters are pretty handy if you know what you're looking for. And in this particular case, we're going to look for the administration guide. And again, we're looking for the 24.1 configuration guide for core content. OpenText Core Content 24.1 administration guide. Okay, that's the right document. Okay, and we're going to open the HTML guide because it's easier to work with this guide. Okay. So here we are. So there are obviously a bunch of other integrations for core content, but our focus today is really on the integration with Salesforce. And as such, we have here a bunch of instructions to cover. So the prerequisites on the Salesforce side, before we can install packages, we need to make sure that the Salesforce org is properly set up. What we have here for us is a fresh Salesforce org that has not been used in any way or shape before. Okay, and also let's bring up here the release notes document and take a look here at the release note document per se for Salesforce integration. So here we have the installation notes for core content for Salesforce, neatly organized. And that's also how you get to the files and to the installation packages on AppExchange via these links. And as well, there's instructions in here to basically also make sure to look at the known issues, and as part of known issues there is For Salesforce, we have there a known issue with 24.1 that currently the post-installation procedures are not executed automatically. They normally would be automatically executed, but there is an issue here in 24.1, so that means that they need to be manually executed. Okay, so let's put this aside and let's go here, open our Salesforce org, PM 01, there we go, and log into our pristine Salesforce org. There we are, and we can switch right into the setup section of Salesforce. And first thing is, let's go to install packages. There we go. So there is nothing currently installed in this org, so it's really a pristine org. And from what we use today for this info session. Okay, so the instructions here, the Salesforce prerequisites. So if you want to use it, Salesforce as a SAML identity provider, what we are going to do is we need to make sure that setup my domain is set up. So typically for developer orgs, that's not a problem. That's already done. My domain, here we go. So that's normally already set up. There we go. That's good. Okay, so here there's nothing really for us to do, but we obviously want to double check that everything looks as we expect it to be. The next will be SAML enabled, so because that's what we're going to use then for single sign-on. So we should go and check this here, SAML settings page in Salesforce. I can just copy this from the instructions in here. There we go. And I see that has not been activated, so let's edit and activate SAML save. Okay. And this looks good. I think there's nothing more for us really to do here. And the last step is here. Okay, now that I mentioned that already in terms of the certificate for the identity provider. Let's go take a look. We should expect to see here a certificate, self-signed certificate for our Salesforce org, enable identity provider. So this will issue a self-signed certificate. There we go. That's what we would expect here. Okay, this all looks great. Let's go back. So I think we can get out of here. All right, and let's go here to back to the installation documentation. So the next step is installing the managed packages in Salesforce. So that's pretty straightforward, the way to install these packages. And remember, basically we have two packages. The base package, that's where all the foundation is contained, and then the application specific package for core content, which basically enables the integration to core content. Where we get these packages from is basically in the release notes. That's part of the release notes document. And in here we have basically the links, direct links to the respective packages that reside in AppExchange. So there is, we can just click here on those links that are provided in the release notes. And what it will do, it will basically bring us here to the standard Salesforce installation screen. And then it will be PM01A1. That is my user. And then login. So what it will do is go into Salesforce, into the installed package app. We'll verify now the package, and that's what it prompts us. Well, we don't want to do this right now. Okay, so we're going to install OpenText Content Services for Salesforce. So that's the base package. We're going to install it for admin only, and that's a good reason because we want to control the rollout, obviously, of the application then to the broader population. And so if we install it for admin only, so everybody with an admin profile will basically get to enjoy the Salesforce integration, and then when it's ready, configured at that point in time, it will be then rolled out to all users. If you're interested, there's some additional components, so if you want to see basically what the package includes in terms of components, you can go take a look at those right here, view components. But for us, exactly that's what we want, OpenText Content Service 24.1 for to install into Core Content. Okay, install. All right, so this depends oftentimes, it takes a couple minutes for these installation procedures to run. So we're basically going to break here, and then we will resume again when we have the confirmation email from AppExchange that the installation has been successful. All right, and we are back. We also received here from Salesforce AppExchange the confirmation email that informs us that the package installation has been was successful. Okay, so let's close out here. Done. We'll get back to the installed package app. There we go, and we'll probably see here our package which has been installed. By default, it's basically always when you install a new package or a package in your Salesforce org, an OpenText package in your Salesforce org, it's always going to be trial, and then five licenses or 5 seats are associated to it, so that you can use it right away. But obviously, you would come back here after you receive your license entitlement from OpenText. That is a separate process you need to follow through in order then to have the purchased seats associated assigned to your Salesforce org. Okay, so far so good. Let's go back to our release note document. So we installed here the base package. Next would be the application extension package. So the extension package is very specific then to the back end you're going to implement with. So in this particular case, we're going with core content, but an extension package is available for extended ECM and as well as for extended ECM documentum. Okay, then let's go click the link in the release notes. We are again prompted to log in, PM01A1. Log in, and we will come back to the same screen we were before, and this time to confirm it's installed the OpenText package for core content for Salesforce. And again, to confirm here that we are looking at the release 24.1. We want to install it for administrators only, and we commence with the installation. So this one is way quicker to install. That just takes a couple of seconds to install this package in your org. And there we go. The installation has been complete and successful. We can confirm and be done with the package installation for now. And we can close here this screen. We don't need this one again. And then here we can just go back to setup home. Okay, with the installation complete of the extension package, let's go back here to the release notes. And as initially mentioned already, we know there is a known issue. So we will find this known issue in the respective known issue section of the release note, and pretty much it is about the post-installation scripts that are normally launched automatically, but with 24.1 there were some issues with doing that, and that's what it requires now for us to go in and do this manually. So we are going back into Salesforce, and in the app launcher here we are going to look for OpenText. There we go. And this now takes a moment for the first time to load. All right, so here we are. The admin console has loaded. So in the navigation here, in the administration navigation, we see the post install. And what we expect to see is basically that none of the scripts has been executed. There should be 15 scripts. So what we're going to do next here is we're going to refresh. Okay, so here we see 15 post-install scripts. That's what we expect. Now let's retry. It's going to take a couple moments and we'll be back. All right, so we're back, and this was about a minute or so for all these post-installation scripts to execute. Okay, next will be the solution accelerator. In order to get this started, we'll go back to the release notes and section 6.2, solution accelerator packages. Okay, let's go. And we'll go here to Knowledge Center and download the Solution Accelerator package, Core Content for Salesforce, Solution Accelerator 24.1 zip. Download this file. Okay, and here we go. There we go. All right. So what it includes is, it's basically a couple things. It includes a link to a package for the Salesforce component. So we're going to execute this, and this also is then an add-on package in your Salesforce org. As said, it's unmanaged. And then in addition, on top of this, we're then loading as well an XML configuration file into your org. Okay, let's execute this, and same procedure as before. We are going to log in our org as an administrator. And we're confirming install the OpenText Core Content for Salesforce CRM Solution Accelerator. We're going to install it just for admins only. And because it's an unmanaged package, there's additional options available, and we recommend to keep this as is. Basically that we want to compile any Apex code that is contained in this package in the org as set by default. Okay, let's go and install. It normally takes a couple moments as well. All right, so here we can see that the package has been successfully installed in the Salesforce org. Okay, after the installation of the Solution Accelerator package in Salesforce, we get back to the Installed Packages app here, and we can now see all three packages that have been installed. So the base package, the extension package, and then on top of that, the Solution Accelerator. Now, the last step is for the Solution Accelerator is also to load a XML configuration file into the system. And that's what we're going to do next. And this file is also part of the zip file that we downloaded previously. And let me bring that back up here. Here's the zip file, Salesforce files. Here we go. That's the SA configuration for core content 24.1. We're going to extract this to a specific folder because that's something we are going to upload into Salesforce, into our administration UI. Okay, downloads, series. Okay. All right, close this. Okay, and Now we're going back to the OpenText administration console. We have here an import-export functionality, and that's actually really great. Import-export, as you can see, we are going to import now standard basically configuration from the Solution Accelerator into the Salesforce org. But as well, you can export the configuration that you are going to make then in your system, your specific configuration you're going to make then in your system. You can export that configuration and then carry it forward into another Salesforce org, an example into your UAT testing org or any other Salesforce org that you may have here to production and then as well for production. Okay, let's go ahead, import XML configuration. So it's a very simple function here. We're browsing for this XML file that we just downloaded before and exported. And here we go. Here we have that XML file open. I'm going to load the file. There we go. So and there are a couple of things on this screen. So first things first. So the Solution Accelerator doesn't include any system configuration, so we can leave this unchecked. But in case you have, in case you're creating your own XML export with system configuration included, then that is obviously something you may want then to activate if you roll the configuration forward into another Salesforce org. But what we're most interested in here are the business objects. So the Solution Accelerator comes with these business objects pre-configured. So those are the most common objects that are used within in a Salesforce org. We pre-configured those to provide you a sample configuration which you can basically use and then continue to build up on and adjust to your specific requirements. Okay, let's import this functionality, this configuration. Also going to take a moment. Here we go. And here we have already the confirmation that this import has been successfully imported. Now if we go back into the workspace section, business object types, now you get to see exactly those 9 pre-configured business objects here as well. They are pre-configured here for account, an example, and related. They are pre-configured with business properties. They are pre-configured with property groups, as well as role synchronization needed for syncing then user to role assignments. Okay, that's pretty much it from an installation perspective. Again, there's some standard functional or standard settings that have been imported as well. If you go and take a look here at the performance section, example workspace processing, these are standard default settings, best practice settings that we suggest as a starting point. Then it's obvious for every customer, the Salesforce configuration is different, the backend configuration is different, that these values obviously need to be then adjusted to meet specific requirements and also as well as performance expectations. So that's not the gold standard, it's a starting point to further refine all these settings that have been put forward here as part of the Solution Accelerator standard configuration. Okay, and let's close this. There's not much more here to show. When we continue then with the series, the report section becomes then obviously of interest for us, so we can go take a look. Okay, so let's go back here then to the PowerPoint for a moment. So we basically from a session outline, so we addressed pretty much everything here. So we will went into Knowledge Center to go look for the documentation. We did validate the Salesforce prerequisites and made the necessary changes in order for the installation to be successful. We installed the application packages, so the base and the extension package. We manually then executed the post-installation tasks, which normally would be automatic. And last but not least, we installed the solution accelerator in the system to provide a template configuration. Okay, that's pretty much it for this session. The next session will be announced shortly, where we will dive into the details then of setting up the system and connecting to core content, to the back end, and basically may establish all these connection points. Without further ado, I would like to thank you everyone and see you soon.